Hi, I'm Zoe, your future marine biologist with a passion for the ocean's mysteries. Did you know that only 5% of the ocean has been mapped and explored? So that means there might be a chance that megalodons still exist. Or that mermaids are actually real. What do you think? Before we dive into the deep end to answer that question, don't forget to like and subscribe. Taking up my dream course in an elite university with the coolest professors was literally the perfect college life. And of course, what's school life without a secret crush? Enter Jace, the nonchalant and incredibly smart guy who sat next to me in a couple of classes. With his attractive looks and chill vibes, he was such a walking daydream. We had small interactions here and there, but each one sent a storm through my tummy. Sometimes our elbows would accidentally touch, or our fingers would brush when picking something up from the floor. He'd ask me short questions related to class, and I'd try not to melt. One time, during a particularly boring lecture, I doodled a little sea creature in my notebook, and he peeked over.
Nice drawing. Maybe you should add a shark.
Blushing, I quickly sketched a tiger shark. He gave me a thumbs up, and it instantly made my day. Another time, I accidentally spilled coffee on his notebook. Oopsie, sorry about that. My reflexes are so uncooperative sometimes.
Great, now my notes are caffeinated. Maybe they'll wake up before I do.
He gave me a lazy smile and pretended that nothing happened. Admiring his perfect side profile and having these small moments with him every day, my life was just simple and peaceful. Until this mysterious woman came along and ruined everything. It started when my favorite professor didn't show up to class one day. Instead, the door creaked open and a mysterious figure glided in, and we collectively held our breath as she finally stepped into the light. She looked so ethereal, with cascading waves of red hair and eyes that shimmered like the ocean. She looked like the Queen of Atlantis. Hello, class. My name is Miss Marina, and I'll be your temporary teacher while Professor Munchkins is on 1-month vacation. The room remained in a spellbound trance. For a moment, I was lost in it too, but a jolt of clarity snapped me back. She looked too young to be a teacher, probably only around her late 20s. What was it about her that felt so enchanting? I just found myself leaning closer to Jace. Doesn't she remind you of a mermaid? But Jace just smirked at me.
Nice imagination.
How about we start our day with a surprise quiz? Good idea? Instead of groans and complaints, everyone was suddenly hyped up, like she'd cast a spell. She hummed a hauntingly beautiful tune while we scribbled away, and I noticed the boys were just staring at her, seemingly hypnotized. Suddenly, I remembered how mermaids were known to be enchanting beings who lure men to the sea to drown them, or make them their slaves. And it didn't help that there was a sea just a few kilometers away from school. Oh no, what if... No. Maybe I was just being paranoid. I tried to shake those ridiculous thoughts off. But over the next few days, I noticed that Miss Marina seemed a little too fond of Jace. She always found a reason to call on him, her eyes sparkling with an unsettling intensity. Jace, can you explain the process of coral reef formation?
Coral reefs form when coral larvae attach to submerged rocks or other hard surfaces along the edges of islands or continents. They grow over time, creating the massive, colorful underwater structures we see.
Excellent. And can you tell me why coral reefs are so important to marine ecosystems?
They support a vast variety of marine life. They provide shelter, food, and breeding grounds for many species. Plus, they protect coastlines from storms and erosion.
Very well said, Jace. You have a remarkable understanding of the ocean. As the days drifted by, her questions for him became more personal and probing, while the rest of us faded into the background. Jace, have you ever felt a deep connection to the sea? Like it's calling to you?
I mean, I like surfing and swimming. It's peaceful out there.
Of course. The ocean has a way of drawing us in. way her eyes glinted when she said that gave me serious goosebumps. After class, she even asked Jace to come to her office. When he finally emerged, I pulled him aside. It was the first time I'd initiated conversation with him outside of class, and I felt like peeing. Hey! What did you guys do in there?
Nothing. We just talked about my class performance over some smoothie. Why?
Oh, nothing. She just seems really sweet.
She is.
I wanted to ask more questions, but I didn't want to come off as a creep. Right. See you around. Since then, I started noticing the littlest things. I realized that Miss Marina kept using words related to the sea. All right, class. It's time to dive into the mysteries of the ocean. My ears perked up. Did she just say dive? Time to hoist the sails and get started, as we'll be fishing for more knowledge. Hoist the sails? Fishing? Don't drift away. Stay awake and drift away? Let's not let this particular slip through the net. Slip through the net? She talked like it was natural and out of experience. Also, I always saw her eating seafood-based snacks like sushi, seaweed, and shrimp chips. And my investigation hit a peak when I realized that she never drank water in class. She always sipped some weird greenish drink from a fancy bottle. Hey, what do you think she's drinking? It looks weird.
Kelp smoothie. She once offered me that in her office.
Did you actually try it?
No way. I prefer my smoothies without seaweed, thanks.
Good choice. Who knows what magical mermaid potion might be in there?
You know, Zoe, if you keep obsessing over mermaids, people might start thinking you're one.
Oh? And what would you think if I were a mermaid?
That would be cool. After all, how many people get to sit next to a cute mermaid in class?
Did he just call me cute? Well, if I were a mermaid, you'd be the first to know.
I'll take note of that.
The way he grinned at me just made me even more determined to save him from the possible danger. One day, my intrusive thoughts finally won. So I approached Miss Marina's desk after class. Miss Marina, can I ask you something? Of course, Zoe. What's on your mind? Do you think mermaids are real? I saw a lot of news and videos suggesting it's real, but some of them are definitely fake news. Well, the ocean is vast and full of mysteries. Who's to say what does or doesn't exist beneath the waves? Has anyone ever told you that you look like a mermaid? Oh, I've heard that a few times. I suppose it's the long hair and my passionate love for the sea. But who knows? Maybe there's a bit of mermaid in all of us who feel drawn to the ocean. I guess so. It's just, you seem so connected to the sea. Almost like you belong there. The sea has always been a part of me, Zoe. Maybe more than you know. As I walked away, her words echoed in my mind. The mystery deepened, and I felt even more determined than ever to uncover the truth. One rainy afternoon, I was searching for some books on mermaids when I stumbled upon an old, dusty book in the library. I read it and learned that to reveal a mermaid's true form, she needs to be pushed back into the water. The opportunity came sooner than I expected the next day when Miss Marina announced that we'd be camping by the lake this weekend. Perfect! When that day came, she showed up wearing a seashell and starfish jewelry, which glistened under the light in an almost magical way. Could she be more obvious? I tried to keep an eye on Jace, but he was always surrounded by these annoying girls in class. But at least they were safer than a potential mermaid. We started our day by warming up around the tracks, and as we rounded the bend, I couldn't help but notice Miss Marina's feet. They were oddly large, almost like a mermaid tail. Before I could overthink again, Jace caught up to me.
You know, watching you jog from behind is like seeing a baby giraffe learning how to walk.
Is that an insult?
Not really.
And then he winked and sprinted ahead, leaving me blushing and distracted for a few hours. Later that day, I was surprised when Miss Marina refused to participate in any activities involving water. I have a severe allergy to chlorine and sea salt. So convenient. Determined to expose her, I devised a plan to get her wet. During lunch, I accidentally tripped and almost spilled my drink on her, but she dodged smoothly, catching the cup mid-air. Careful, Zoe. After lunch, while we were fishing at the lake, I saw Miss Marina slide up to Jace and whisper something in his ear. She grabbed his hand and was about to pull him somewhere, but my overprotective instincts flared up. I dashed over to them and, faking a trip, tumbled right into Jace. I swear, I must have tripped over a wandering janitor fish.
On land?
Yep. You never know. Some of them might have evolved to walk among us. I turned to Miss Marina with a knowing smile, and I swore her gaze turned icy. She stepped back slightly, putting more distance between herself and the lake. That night, as we gathered around the bonfire, I noticed Jace was missing, and so was Miss Marina. Alarm bells rang in my head. Oh no! I quietly slipped away to search for him, and finally found him sitting near the lake. Jace, you shouldn't be here alone. Miss Marina might be dangerous.
Dangerous? What do you mean?
And that was when I finally told him my theories. But he ended up laughing non-stop.
Oh, if she turns out to be an actual mermaid, then I'll buy you lunch for a month.
Oh, perfect. I'm saving for a cute dress.
You're not only pretty, but you're also funny. Not gonna lie.
What? You think I'm pretty?
Why do you think I sat next to you in our classes?
Huh? You just playfully pinched my chin, which made me scream internally.
Let's get back to the camp before people start reporting us as missing.
He started walking first while I followed behind. So ecstatic that he actually calls me pretty. The next day, I separated from the team to explore the lake. I stumbled upon an underwater tunnel entrance hidden among the rocks. My heart raced. This had to lead to Miss Marina's hidden lair. As I leaned closer, I tripped and almost fell into a hole, but strong hands pulled me back.
Oh, careful, clumsy.
Jeez, you scared me.
What is this place?
I think it leads to something. We have to check it out. Reluctantly, Jace followed me into the tunnel. Inside, we found fish bones, old memorabilia, and creepy yet fascinating artifacts. I think this lake is connected to the sea. What if this is Miss Marina's secret lair?
You're something else, Zoe. But if this helps you sleep at night, let's find out.
Together, we navigated the eerie tunnel, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. The deeper we went, the more convinced I became that we were onto something big. We turned a corner and stumbled upon a dusty old chest. Opening it, we found a stack of old love letters between two people.
Looks like we've stumbled upon someone's private drama.
I started reading aloud. My dearest, the sea calls to me, but my heart remains with you. Forever yours, M. I looked up at Jace. M. Marina, maybe?
Yeah, right. Because she's the only person in the world whose name starts with M.
Seriously, Jace? This is big. We might be uncovering some ancient love story. He chuckled, shaking his head.
All right, Nancy Drew. Let's see what else we've got here.
Before we could explore further, a loud bang echoed through the tunnel. My heart leapt into my throat. What was that?
Probably nothing.
Just then, Miss Marina and our principal appeared, their flashlights nearly blinding us. There you two are. This tunnel is a long-forgotten part of the nearest building's old irrigation system. It's dangerous to be here. So, it's not a secret lair of someone or something? No, Zoe. Just old pipes and history. Jace gave me an I told you so look, and I just rolled my eyes. Fine, it was a false alarm. On our way to the campsite, I suddenly slipped and fell into the lake.
Zoe!
Jace dived right in as panic surged through me. But before I knew it, Miss Marina had already pulled me out first, with surprising strength and agility. Hi, for a limited time, get up to 60% off our exclusive official merch. Don't miss out! Grab your favorites now! Visit our Amazon page through the link below and score these deals before they're gone. So she jumped in the water too? I thought you were allergic to sea salt. Sometimes you have to face your fears, Zoe. As I looked into the water, I noticed something strange. Her reflection appeared distorted, almost like a mermaid's tail instead of legs. Holy cheeseberries! Maybe I was indeed right after all. The weekend at the lake was coming to an end, but my quest for truth was just beginning. That night, while we were sleeping in the tent, I heard a familiar, magical voice humming. It was echoing throughout the woods. I asked my tent mate if she was hearing it, but she didn't. Confused, I opened the tent, and my heart dropped when I noticed something from afar. It was Jace, sleepwalking like a zombie towards the lake. No. I scrambled out of the tent and ran after him. I gently shook him as I finally caught up to him. Jace, wake up! Finally, his eyes fluttered open.
Zoe? What's going on?
Before I could answer, I saw a figure standing by the lake, shrouded in mist. As I inched closer, the fog parted, revealing Miss Marina, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. She looked so out of this world, beautiful, like an enchantress. But my heart was pounding with fear and suspicion. You're a mermaid, aren't you? And you're trying to lure Jace away with you. Miss Marina laughed, a melodic sound that sent shivers down my spine. Oh, Zoe, you're such an interesting girl, aren't you? What made you think of such a ridiculous thing? Just answer my freaking question. There's just something you kids need to know, but I can't tell you right now. Jace and I exchanged confused glances.
Why don't you just say it right now?
I can't. I'll tell you kids first thing in the morning tomorrow at school. The anticipation and curiosity were killing me. When I finally got home, Mom asked me to help her out in the attic. As we were rummaging through old boxes, I discovered an old family tree document that drained the blood from my face. At the very top of the tree, there were pictures of my ancient ancestors resting in the sea, with the lower parts of their bodies hidden beneath the waves. Was I distantly related to mermaids? Mom, what's this?
Oh, that old thing? Just some silly family legend.
Silly family legend? Or is it?
Your great-great-great-great-grandma said that they made that family tree just for fun because they were obsessed with mermaids.
This revelation made me question my own identity and motives for investigating Miss Marina. Could it be that I had some mermaid blood in me? Was that why I was so drawn to her? I had to know the real truth before I got sick from overthinking. I barged into Miss Marina's office first thing in the morning, but to my surprise, Jace was already in there. Zoe, you're just in time. I'm about to tell Jace the truth. Please, tell us what's going on. Who really are you? First of all, Zoe, as much as I want your mermaid theory to be true because mermaids are beautiful creatures, but sorry, I'm not one. Maybe all those things you noticed were just coincidences. Then what's your deal with Jace? Or me? She then dropped a bombshell that left Jace and me reeling. I'm your mother, Jace.
What? That's not possible.
I'm so sorry for leaving you. I've always been watching over you from afar. I never stopped looking for you. While Jace was still in shock, I demanded proof. Where's your evidence? How can we be sure you're not playing some twisted game to hide your real secret? I held my breath as she grabbed some documents from her drawer and showed us pictures of Jace growing up and his dad, along with a DNA test. Jace, remember when I offered you a kelp drink in my office last time? I used your cup for the DNA test. So she was really telling the truth?
I can't believe this. Does Dad even know? And why did you leave us?
It's a long story, filled with mistakes and regrets. I left because I was young and scared. Your father and I, our marriage was arranged, and I didn't know how to be a mother. I made the wrong choice, and I've been trying to make up for it ever since.
So, you just left? You abandoned me and Dad?
I know, it sounds unforgivable. I was overwhelmed and made a terrible decision. But please believe me, I never stopped thinking about you. I watched you grow up from afar, always wishing I could be a part of your life. I felt a wave of shame wash over me. I'm sorry, Miss Marina. I jumped to conclusions and caused all this drama. I understand, Zoe. You were just trying to protect Jace. But please, keep this a secret for now. I need to figure out how to fix this. Jace was still in shock for the rest of the day, and I just tried to be there for him. Hey, you okay?
Just thinking about everything. It's a lot to take in.
I get it. It's not every day you find out your mysterious teacher is your long-lost mom.
Yeah, no kidding. I never really had a mom growing up, you know?
So, it's only been you and your dad?
Well, I had a stepmom, but she eventually left. She wasn't exactly a fairy tale stepmother.
That sounds really tough.
It was. But, you know, I'm used to it. It's just finding about Miss Marina now. It brings up a lot.
You're not alone in this. I mean, I'm your seatmate, so...
I knew I made the right choice by sitting next to you.
He playfully messed with my hair before standing up and nonchalantly walking away, leaving me alone. Ugh, when is he finally gonna ask me out? Since then, Miss Marina had been trying so hard to get closer to Jace, but something still felt off. I still couldn't shake off the weird vibe around her. She seemed too perfect, too eager to make up for lost time. One day, I heard that she asked Jace in her office again after our last class, and it had been hours, but they weren't coming out yet. I waited and waited until it was past the school hours. What in the world were they doing there? Moments later, I finally saw her coming out of the room, and she looked sus as she locked the door. What about Jace? I was pretty sure he was still inside. I waited for her to leave before rushing toward the door. I started panicking when I noticed some smoke seeping out from under the door. With a surge of adrenaline, I kicked the door open and immediately saw the problem. There was a gas leak, and it was probably poisonous. Jace was on the floor, coughing and almost passing out. Thinking quickly, I grabbed a nearby stapler and hurled it at the ceiling sprinklers. The water burst forth, clearing the smoke, and I dragged Jace out of the room as fast as I could. Once we were safely outside, I called 911. As the sirens wailed in the distance, I tried to wake Jace up. Jace! What happened? What did she do to you?
Zoe, Miss Marina, she's my stepmom.
I couldn't believe my ears. So Miss Marina tricked us into believing that she was his real mom? She hadn't gotten far yet. She was seen on the school campus trying to escape, but thankfully, the cops saw her and arrested her immediately. The news spread like wildfire. Apparently, Miss Marina had been scamming people for years, and the cops had been looking for her for months. After recovering in the hospital, Jace told me that his dad finally revealed everything to him.
My real mom is gone. It was an arranged marriage between them, so she never loved us. As soon as she gave birth to me, she left me with Dad and married someone else. And that's her, Miss Marina. Her name used to be Laura, and she looked so different back then, like an evil witch. One day, Dad caught her trying to steal all his fortune, so he called the cops on her. He found out she was actually a professional scammer and gold digger. She escaped prison a year ago and had plastic surgery. She came back to get her revenge on Dad by trying to harm me.
Wow, I didn't expect that at all. She's worse than a dangerous mermaid.
Thanks, Zoe. I owe you my life.
Nah, any girl would do that for their cute seatmate, you know?
Oh yeah? How about we go back to the lake this weekend for some real mermaid hunting?
Are you finally asking me out on a date?
Maybe.
Excuse me for a moment. I went out of the room and screamed in Cloud9. Freaking finally! A few days later, Jace took me to the lake for a date, as promised. As we enjoyed the tranquil moment, a sudden splash broke the silence. My heart skipped a beat as I turned to look, and for a moment, I thought I saw a mermaid's tail before it disappeared into the water. Did you see that?
See what?
A mermaid's tail. I swear I saw it. What if Miss Marina escaped prison again or something? Jace squeezed my hand.
It's just your imagination, Zoe.
I was about to check my phone to see if there was any news, when suddenly, he leaned in and kissed me. And all of my paranoia instantly melted away. That was, nice.
Glad to know. Now, I need you to focus on me and leave those mermaids for another day.
With Jace by my side, I felt ready to face whatever the future held, with mermaids or not.